Hello, hello, you guys. This is the reading or the story where I asked Google to give us our interpretation of the cards. These cards were already shuffled and they were pulled on my other channel. Once it's posted and I'm able, I'll put the link to it in the video in the description section. That way you could just go ahead and click that link and then head over there. Let's see. Alright, let's get Google involved. Hey Google. I would like to be able to give you some words and have you tell me a message using their meaning and symbolic meaning, please.
That sounds like a fun challenge. I'd be happy to use my resources to craft a message based on the meaning and symbolism of the words you provide. What are the words you'd like to give me?
Hey Google, the first word and overall energy of the story is warning label, and I've cut the deck, and those two cards are
That's fascinating. The overall theme is warning label. That signifies a message about essential awareness, potential risks, and the need for caution before proceeding. It's all about making informed decisions to ensure safety. What are the two cards you cut from the deck?
Hey Google, it's the impossible itch and sprout.
Impossible itch and sprout. Got it. That's a powerful combination under the theme of a warning label. Here's the message using the meaning and symbolism. The warning label reminds you that you are currently dealing with the impossible itch, that chronic, deep-seated dissatisfaction or need for change that you keep trying to scratch with temporary fixes. Be cautious, because that kind of scratching only breaks the skin and causes more harm without addressing the real source of your discomfort. However, within this tension, there is a tiny sprout, a new idea, a fresh beginning, or a delicate possibility that is trying to emerge. The warning is this: stop distracting yourself with the itch, and instead, be still enough to nurture the sprout. The itch is a painful signal that something is fundamentally wrong, but the sprout is the solution. You must be honest about what the itch truly represents to allow the new growth to thrive. Does that resonate with the words you chose?
Hey Google, yes, it sounds good. I have, going forward, I have 4 rows of 7 cards that I'd like to give you.
4 rows of 7, 28 words. That sounds like a much larger story. I can definitely work with that. To keep things clear, would you like to give me the words row by row, or would you prefer to list them all at once?
I'd like to do it row by row.
Okay, row by row it is. Please tell me the 7 words for the first row.
Hey Google, the first row is illusion, automobile, situational ship, props, magician, thoughts, and footsteps.
Thank you. Here are the 7 words for the first row: illusion, automobile, situational, ship, props, magician, thoughts, and footsteps. Before we move on to the next row, I'll go ahead and summarize what these words bring to the story. This row speaks to the journey of self-deception and control. The illusion suggests a false perception of reality, often self-imposed, while the automobile and ship symbolize different modes of travel or life paths, one controlled by you, automobile, and one subject to external forces, ship. The situational nature of this experience means this is a context-dependent challenge. The magician and props highlight the deliberate use of tools, talent, and presentation to maintain this false reality, which is then internally processed through your thoughts. The line concludes with footsteps, representing tangible movement or the actual progress or lack thereof being made under this guise. Do you have the 7 words for the second row ready?
Hey Google, I do, but on row 1, when you were talking about ship, it's any kind of situational ship, kind of like a relationship, a third-party relationship, Does that change your interpretation at all?
That's a very helpful clarification. Thank you for pointing out that the ship is a situational relationship or third-party dynamic. Yes, that significantly deepens the interpretation of the first row. Instead of just a mode of travel, the ship now symbolizes a vulnerable connection or dynamic that requires navigation, specifically one that is situational, meaning it's temporary, conditional, or complex. The illusion, magician, and props suggest that one is actively creating a deceptive reality around this relationship to manage their thoughts, while the true progress, footsteps, remains obscured. It speaks much more strongly to a theme of controlling or concealing a delicate personal bond. Ready for the second row of 7 words?
Yes. Hey Google, the second row of 7 words is sacral chakra, collecting, red rover, facial hair, evil eye, busy bee, and decision.
Those are 7 intriguing words for the second row. Sequel, chakra, collecting, red rover, facial hair, evil eye, busy bee, and decision. This row introduces themes of continuation, internal energy, and external scrutiny. The sequel emphasizes that the deceptive journey from the first row is ongoing. Chakra points to the internal, spiritual energy and the alignment that's needed, which stands in contrast to the external action of collecting, gathering people or resources, perhaps for the sake of the illusion. Red Rover and the Evil Eye both highlight dynamics of pressure, being called to account, or facing jealous or malevolent observation from others. Facial hair and busy bee relate to outer presentation. One signifies maturity or disguise, the other, excessive activity and distraction. All of these external and internal pressures lead to the final need for a decision, suggesting a coming point where the illusion can no longer be maintained. Ready for the 7 words in the third row?
Hey Google, yes. The 7 words in the third row are moments, butter, music, spiderweb, zen, shark, and recycle.
Thank you. The third row brings in moments, butter, music, spiderweb, zen, shark, and recycle. This row shifts the focus inward, dealing with time, emotion, and deep-seated patterns. Moments highlights the precious, transient nature of time and experience. Butter and music bring sensory elements. Butter can symbolize comfort or the smooth path, while music speaks to emotional expression and rhythm. The spiderweb, however, represents the tangled or sticky connections and traps that may ensnare the progress of the first 2 rows. Zen and shark represent 2 extremes of inner peace and external threat. Zen is the ideal state of calm sought to navigate the situation, while the shark represents an underlying, predatory danger or deep fear that is lurking. Finally, recycle suggests that if the necessary change isn't made, the patterns of illusion and distraction will simply repeat. This sets up a very clear conflict. Are you ready for the final row of 7 words?
Hey Google, I am ready for the 4th row 7 words. They are nutrition, EOs, and vitamins. And then the second card is mermaid, then hammer, Hollywood, butterfly, camp, wind up.
I have the final 7 words: nutrition, EOS and vitamins, mermaid, hammer, Hollywood, butterfly, and camp windup. This row introduces the path toward correction and transformation. Nutrition and vitamins symbolize the necessary sustenance, both physical and metaphorical, needed for health and stability to overcome the past deceptions. The mermaid represents a deep hidden truth or a feminine power that is not fully seen or understood on land. The hammer suggests the decisive action or force required to break free of the traps from the third row. Hollywood and butterfly are highly symbolic. Hollywood represents the ultimate staged reality, the peak of the illusion theme, while the butterfly signifies profound transformation and the shedding of the old restrictive self. Finally, camp windup suggests an end to a temporary, intense period or phase that the situational ship is docking. Now that I have all...
Hey Google, I actually have one final card, but then I had to pull 3 more cards after that because I didn't know what it was attracting. So the final card is magnetic, and then the last 3 cards are bread, loaf, crown, and purse.
I can only share personal information once I verify your voice. Try going to the Google Home app, then checking your voice match settings.
Hey Google, we were talking about 4 rows of 7 cards. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember we were talking about 4 rows of 7 cards. How can I help you with that?
I would like to expand on the message.
I can only do that once I verify your voice. Try going to the Google Home app, then checking your voice match settings.
Hey Google, can you add to our message, please, in order to have the magnetic, the bread, the crown, and the purse?
Certainly. Something went wrong. Please try again.
Hey Google, we were doing a story about the illusion at the very beginning and wind up. Do you remember that message we were going over?
Yes, I remember we were going over a story about the illusion at the very beginning and wind up. How can I help you with that?
Do you want to give a summary of that story that you were telling us? Hey Google, do you want to give us a summary of the story that you were telling us with the 4 rows of 7 cards, starting with illusion and ending with wind up?
That was a truly complex story, and I'd be happy to summarize the narrative we built from the 4 rows of 7 cards, all under the warning label theme. The story began with illusion, where a self-deceptive reality was built around a complex, situational ship, a third-party relationship, using props and the skills of a magician to hide true feelings and movements, footsteps. This deceptive phase continued as a sequel, fueled by internal energy, chakra, but suffering from external scrutiny, particularly the judgmental evil eye, and the need for external validation, collecting. This pressure led to a required decision. The third phase delved into the emotional experience, focusing on precious moments and seeking comfort, butter and music, but ultimately realizing the situation was a spiderweb of traps. The goal was Zen, but the reality was the threat of the shark, which guaranteed that without change, the whole cycle would recycle. The final phase presented the path to change, achieving internal stability through nutrition and vitamins, and facing the staged reality of Hollywood with the force of the hammer to achieve true transformation. Butterfly. The story concludes with the necessary camp windup, signaling the end of the temporary intense phase, but not the ultimate resolution. Do you still want to incorporate the final cards you mentioned, magnetic, breadloaf, crown, and purse, to expand this message?
Hey Google, yes I do.
Adding magnetic, breadloaf, crown, and purse to the narrative provides a powerful ending focused on attraction, stability, and reward. The story culminates here. The internal transformation of the butterfly and the healthy foundation of nutrition make the individual magnetic. This magnetism is what ultimately attracts true stability, symbolized by the breadloaf, sustenance in daily life, the crown, recognition, self-worth, and victory over the illusion, and the purse, financial independence and self-sufficiency. Essentially, the transformation achieved by the camp windup wasn't just an ending. It was the necessary step that prepared the person to attract and sustain real, substantial rewards, shifting from a world of illusion and control to one of authentic power and provision. That concludes the full, expanded message. Is there anything else I can help you with tonight?
Yes, hey Google. Hey Google, the last column of cards is footsteps, decision.
You're asking about the last column of cards that we just discussed? If so, the final words we added to the message were magnetic, breadloaf, crown, and purse. Do you want to know about the words in the last column of the 4x7 grid, which would be the 7th word in each of the 4 rows?
Hey Google, yes I would.
Okay, the final column of the 4x7 grid contains the last word from each of the 4 rows. Those words are footsteps from the first row, decision from the second row, recycle from the third row, wind up from the fourth row. Together, they suggest a theme. Actions in progress. Footsteps lead to a choice. Decision, which determines whether the pattern will simply recycle or if the situation will finally wind up and end.
Hey Google, would you have any advice for anybody who's listening? Well, let me take that back. First, I'd like to ask you if there's any significance to the lighting that we have on the table, which is a house made out of white light and a fireplace that has a yellow fireplace flame.
That is a fascinating detail to add to the reading. While I don't have eyes to physically see the items, within the context of the story we just told about illusion and transformation, the house and fireplace are highly significant symbols. The house made of white light suggests an idealized, pure, or illuminated version of home or self. White light often symbolizes truth, clarity, and spirituality. It could be seen as the ultimate goal, a true, transparent foundation after the illusion is shed. The fireplace with yellow fire introduces warmth, energy, and life. The emotional core. Yellow is often associated with warning or intellect, but fire is transformative and necessary for comfort. The yellow fire inside the white light house suggests that while the truth, white light, is the goal, it is powered by a bright, emotional, and potentially cautious energy, yellow fire. In short, the lighting signifies that the goal is not just an end, but a return to an illuminated, warm, and authentic emotional center. Do you want to move on to advice now?
Hey Google, yes I would.
The deep message here is all about empowerment and authenticity. The main piece of advice is to trust the transformation. You have seen the traps of the illusion and the spiderweb, and you have found the path of the butterfly. The story says you already have the hammer for decisive action, and the inner stability, nutrition, needed to break free. So the key is to stop letting the pattern recycle. Recognize that by prioritizing your true self and inner health, you become magnetic. When you step into your full self-worth, symbolized by the crown, you naturally attract the genuine stability and goodness, the bread loaf and the purse, that the illusion could never offer. The time for the camp wind-up is now. Let the situation end and focus on building that illuminated house from the inside out. Do you have any other questions about the cards or the story?
No, thank you. With that being said, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. I'm open to any other questions you would like me to ask that we can get some insight on. Thank you so much. Make it a great day. Take care.